Oh, look at you. You're so adorable in your tiny footed pajamas. Happy birthday, sweetie. Wow, 2 years today. Oops. I think I know a little someone who's ready for some cake. Chugga 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 choo choo. Here it comes.
A wise man once said, "Don't worry that your children never listen to you. Worry that they're always watching you." Such is the case in this indie game called Among the Sleep. Whatever the child watches in the real world is molded into his wildest imaginations and dreams. It's games like these that keep my faith in the indie game industry. Thanks to games like these, I can boycott boring AAA title games where the gamers are treated as cash cows and nothing more. Developed by Krillbite Studios using the Unity engine, this game revisits all the bad memories and nightmares we had as kids and does an intelligent job of exploring the complex reasons and patterns behind them. It seems that this small group of developers have a knack of thinking outside the box. What is especially unique about this game is that the story of this game is experienced from the perspective of a 2-year-old boy who goes through some truly insane and traumatizing events on a basic human level. So, right off the bat, you know that this is not your typical first person horror game, but something much more. Among the Sleep puts you in the unique position of viewing the world through the eyes of a 2-year-old. Never before has a lovable protagonist been so helpless. You are a child. No weapons, no magic, no means of attacking or defending. Just a little kid, and here you must go through the most darkest of places with only your trusted guardian, Teddy. You run and hide in this beautiful game that dwells in the mind of a kid and lets you see things from his perspective. The story of this game is that on one stormy night, you wake up to find your mother and your friend Teddy missing. Hence, you go on an adventurous quest to find the two people closest to you. Early on, you manage to find Teddy, who then accompanies you for the rest of the game, providing valuable support and narration throughout the game. You have to search for important items and memories to find your mother, but not let the monsters catch you. While at the same time you face fears of being lost in the dark, monsters lurking in the closets and every dark corner, which gives the illusion of hellish presence in the most clever ways I've ever seen. You begin to imagine things and jump at the slightest noise. This game holds all the qualities of a psychological masterpiece. Some of the main themes of the game include childhood trauma, domestic violence, tragedy, family separation, and the psychological after effects of all that in a child's mind. Using this gameplay method in a horror game is a stroke of genius, since you have no way of defending yourself against unknown evils. It really adds to the feeling of helplessness. Periodic jump scares plus extraordinary tense background noise creates a terrifying edge of your seat adventure. This game is incredibly atmospheric and imaginative. It also lingers in your mind afterwards, like all great pieces of art. You would not want to miss it. The main distinction between a horror game and a creepy FPS game is that the player tends to be mostly defenseless. They can only run and hide, hoping not to get dragged out from underneath the bed by whatever lurks in the dark. I can hardly think of a more vulnerable protagonist than a 2-year-old child, which makes this aspect of being defenseless incredibly strong here. If you have trouble even walking, trying to hide and run from a threat becomes almost unbearable. The atmosphere is great, there are quite a few very scary moments, and I loved the minimalist storytelling that says so much by telling so little. The simple act of presenting a game through the eyes of a toddler is ingenious. Not too long ago, Bioshock 2 gave us a somewhat exaggerated and short taste of what it might be to wander around the madness of the world as a small child. Being an achievement hunter, I had to replay the game, and it was even more rewarding than my first playthrough. It opened my eyes and made me realize what a special little game it was. It also added a Slender Man feeling to it. Only a toddler version, though. The game runs perfectly smooth. I haven't encountered a single problem in it. It still has its amazing visuals and physics, and I noticed a greater update in the ambience and sounds, which creates a much better horror atmosphere. Graphics-wise, the game is fantastic and highly immersive. There are no annoying QuickTime events or immersion-breaking moments in the game. Excellent graphics, novel idea, and a steady pacing makes this a great indie horror game. I did not encounter any glitches or bugs while playing this game. I strongly believe that this game deserves a lot more credit, as it leaves a strong impact on you that a lot of AAA titles cannot do. With its provoking story and innovation to the horror genre, I urge you to try it. Such a rich gem is very hard to find. On the negative side, this game is sometimes very dark, so much that some places are just pitch black, and it's easy to get disoriented and stuck. Also, the main threat loses some of its potency once you've seen it a few times and have figured out how to get away from it and avoid it. But at that point, the story has revealed itself enough to take over the driving force to find out where things are going. The basic controls from moving and grabbing may get annoying, but you are a kid, so there's not much to expect here in terms of fluid movement. The monsters in this game felt oversimplified, having little presence in the game. If you took away the storyline and the monsters, this would just be running from A to B with little or no challenge. Unlike other horror games, the monsters here don't try to persistently hunt you down. Avoiding them is a fairly easy task. This is easily one of the most memorable games I've ever played. Jump scares aside, the fluctuating mood and the atmosphere gave me the chills. The base game, including the DLC, takes about 4 to 5 hours to finish. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this game is better than Amnesia, Outlast, Dreadout, and other scary games where you play as an adult or a teenager. Most horror games make you feel vulnerable by doing the same thing of taking away any weapons, which doesn't always make sense, as you normally play as an adult character who should be able to pick up a pipe or a crowbar and use it to defend themselves. This has always annoyed me slightly as you feel forced into being vulnerable, even though in real life the chances are you would find a weapon to defend yourself. In this game, however, you play a 2-year-old toddler, so it makes sense to not give you weapons, and it makes a nice change to know that in real life a toddler probably wouldn't be able to defend himself very well. As a small child, you are clumsy, slow, unarmed against the shadows that crawl along the walls and scream out through the dark. Your only defense is to hide and find comfort in the warmth in your teddy bear friend, who is also your traveling companion. Any means of fighting back has been stripped away. The game is scary, short, surreal, surprisingly good, stylish, and sweet. I don't regret buying and playing this game. It really changed my point of view of how something so innocent can in reality be far worse than you could imagine. The immersion is great, the plot is thought-provoking, the graphics are easy on the eyes, and the gameplay is fun. In conclusion, the ending of this game shows you the harsh reality that no kid should have to go through. All in all, I warmly recommend this game, not only to seasoned horror fans, but also to anyone looking for an outside-the-box experience from a new perspective. On the bright side, you don't have to worry about changing the baby's diapers. but depending on your threshold for horror and jump scares, you just might have to change your pants after certain scary moments. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any recommendations for me to review, please let me know. Thanks, guys.